Okay. So
I'm the only one here right now, so start, and then I'll go back to the other one and tell everybody.
I started. Can you see me and hear me? You have to be in the other room to actually.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, good. Beautiful. All right. So now I took off the mute. Is this better? You should be. Information is able to hear me. Yes. I know. I think it was that the like pre scheduling. For some reason, the audio was not functioning. Let me try one more thing. Can you all still hear me? Can you still hear me? Yes. Okay, beautiful. So I took out the headphones. I really appreciate everyone for being very patient with me. This is this is interesting. But thank you for being here. Welcome to the annual fast Q&A. I'll jump right in because it's already 1:14 and I don't want to keep anyone longer than they need to. If you have any questions that you want me to answer or you want to ask any questions in the chat, please feel, well, of course, in the chat, please feel free to do so. But I wanted to speak just a little bit about the Anu space created here. This Anu space, I am Moksha, and I am going to say I'm grateful to our head and Chief Jegna for ensuring we have a space to have dialogue about, you know, what an actual fast looks like and what things that you can do or any precautions that you may want to take moving into a fast. The fast is only 3 days, so I think everyone will be good. It's only a 3 day fast, but the Anu way is the tome that we're using, and in the Anu way really speaks to Anu following along with the seasons and the shifts and the changes in the season. And so one of the shifts that we're acknowledging beginning on Sabbath, which is tomorrow, well, sundown this evening, would be that 3 day fast to mark the autumn equinox for 2020. And, you know, this dawning, one of the things that came to me as I listened to the command a day, I was really thinking about the fact that this 3 day fast is a growth lesson. Because I think all strong we've been getting growth lessons. So this fast will be a growth lesson for many, and including myself, because there's always something new to learn. So when we're fasting, the greatest thing is to think about sacrifice. That's another thing that came up this dawning, sacrifice. And I think the phrase was, don't sacrifice your greatness, the greatness that you could be for a sandwich or, you know, just something silly and invaluable. So this is a great opportunity for all of us to kind of hold on to parts of ourselves that we can manifest that we probably never knew that we had or were able to accomplish. So thank you for joining us today. In acknowledging the fast, one of the things that makes sense to take into account is the fact that it's a 3 day fast. So you want to make sure that you're prepared, you have sufficient water, and you have sufficient juices. If you're going to do or utilize juices in your fast, you want to make sure that you have sufficient, because if you do feel hungry, you want to drink only when you're hungry. So you want to make sure everything is prepared for you already. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the different types of fasts. I know some of it was mentioned before, but I'll do a quick review. And, so you can do a water fast, which it would be this would be a great time to try it out because a water fast is strictly just water. It is the only liquid that you will consume. You can do what's called a liquid fast, or some people call it a wet fast, because you will introduce water along with teas and any other juices that you can create or want to create on your own. The juices, like I'll suggest that you use a juicer, or you can blend and strain it so that you don't find yourself too heavy. You do not want to make a shake or a peanut shake or anything like that. You want to make sure that the juices that you consume are very light, they're very refreshing, and they won't weigh you down or make you feel lethargic. So, again, a wet fast is that liquid fast. All you're consuming are liquids, um, but you want to make sure those liquids are light. And you can do a dry fast, which would, of course, exclude or restrict you to absolutely consuming nothing. All right, you're not even consuming water. So this is another opportunity for those of you who want to indulge in a dry fast, because the dry fast, it's 3 days. So you get an opportunity to test yourself or to push yourself beyond some of the limits that you've had before. Maybe you've tried a liquid fast in the past and you've probably tried a water fast and you've never done a dry fast. This is a great short opportunity for you to see where you are and to see how much you can utilize that will that you have and utilize that mental power to engage the ability to stay firm and like just create a space within yourself where you're so focused on accomplishing that 3 day fast and going through with it. And it's not just about the juicing and the food or what's available to you, but and that consumption in terms of like food or nutrient, but it's your consumption of the spiritual word as well. So you want to make sure that your fasting period includes, adura, you include meditation and other forms of, spiritual development during that time. Any other form of activity that you normally utilize. For me, I haven't decided completely yet, but a water fast may be excellent at this time for me. But how about you? Have you made decisions about the fast you want to indulge in? Do you think you're going to do a water fast, or would you do a liquid fast? I think one or two of you have shared already with me that you want to try the water fast, but let us know in the chat, share, and let us know what you've decided so far. One of the things that might be very difficult is the idea of restricting yourself from food. I know Alicia Howard says she's going to do liquid fast. All right. So one of the best ways to prepare yourself for a liquid fast is to, start considering how you're wrapping up your days before the fast, right? So today and yesterday, you would have prepared yourself. You will make sure that you're not eating heavy meals. Your meals are lighter. Maybe you had a raw meal yesterday. You can also indulge in a raw meal today, right? And when I say a raw meal, I mean a dish that is uncooked. It could be a light salad with some avocado. Maybe you just want to indulge in some fruit. All right. Maybe you want to do a mono fruit meal. So a mono fruit meal means that you're looking at just eating one fruit for your meal for the day. And that's going to support you because you're actually getting your brain and your body ready. You're giving it an ease and a break, but you're getting your brain and body ready. All right. You're getting it ready for that liquid. You're getting it ready for, just water rich foods and hydrating the body. And you're also getting it accustomed to not chewing and eating, because I think that's what frightens most people, the idea that they may have food in the fridge that they can't touch, they just can't eat it. I also think what makes people a little bit afraid is the idea of restricting their food consumption and not having solid food. All right. Pay attention if you have cravings, especially if you just have random cravings because you want to eat, because it may be a sign of just not having that control. Right? Sometimes we eat emotionally. So that may be one of the things that's actually going to happen during your fast. You may find yourself just going to the fridge and rummaging through it, maybe, or maybe you'll be steadfast and focused. And if you are, that's where you want to be. But if you find yourself constantly thinking back about food or thinking back about what's in the fridge, that will be a time for you to drink. All right. Drink as much liquid as you can to fill yourself. Because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to break your fast before the time. So that's one of the things that I would suggest. If you do want to push yourself beyond, you can see how long you'll be able to hold out. If you're feeling hungry, see how long you can push yourself to wait for that gratification. Because many times it's the gratification, right? Okay. M. Anuel says he's going to do a liquid fast as well. Information as well. Sister Manira says I will most likely do a liquid fast so I can still have tea. Yes, you can. And there's some beautiful teas and tea blends that you could utilize during your fast, because what you will do is you can do two things at one time. You can ease your stomach and allow for your gut to get some time to relax, and maybe your microbes will, be able to replenish themselves through the drinking of water or just the juices. But you can consume teas, and what the teas will do, help to boost the immune system. You can drink teas that will help to remineralize your body and your blood. Yellow Dark is an excellent tea. And I believe the other dawning, I heard, yes, Sister Manira, the Red Wrap blend. All right, I see you. But I believe someone mentioned the other dawning beetroot. Beetroot is a great juice, but I suggest that I agree with what was said in terms of making sure you're not drinking too much beet juice, because the levels of the sugar content in beet juice can be a little bit too much for your system. And what will happen is you might even become jittery because of the sugar levels. So an excellent way to combat that is to use a yellow dark infusion along with some burdock as well, and mix that in with water. And what that will do is it will help your body to assimilate the beet juice much better. But I agree that if you are going to indulge in beet juice, do it sparingly, or mix it with herbs, root herbs such as, again, burdock and yellow dark. And burdock and yellow dark are excellent blood cleansers. So, and many people know that. So one of the things it will do is to help to balance that sugar level if you do indeed have pre-existing issues that can be affected by consuming high sugar content roots. Let's see, Sister Kashia she's speaking to Sister Maniro. I want to incorporate teas for sure. Yes, For the women, I'll share a couple of teas that you can include in your regimen for the 3 days as well. Alisa said, I had strawberries, water, and honey in the blender today. That sounds like a great mix. If you don't want to use honey, you could actually take out the honey and add half a banana. Stevia is a good substitute for honey if you are, trying to reduce your calories or your caloric intake during the 3 days. So that's something to consider, but that's a great blend. I would add a piece of ginger in there just because that's me. I like the heat from the ginger, even if it might be physically hot. The temperature may be hot. I will do liquid as well. So the precious mom says she will do liquid as well. Yeah, yellow dock is excellent. Kashia, have you been using yellow dock before or prior to this? Has anyone else used yellow dock, especially during the fasting time? Tracy says, how is strawberry and beets? Is that too much? No, because most times I find that strawberries tend to be a little bit acidic, so they will balance. But please, add water. Add water to it, and maybe some yellow dock tea to balance. And if you are doing it, you could do 1 beet and probably a pint of strawberries and add water to that. Kevin Godby, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for being in the space and being present. Kashia says, yes, I used it, but never knew it could benefit during a fast. It definitely can. Because, when you're fasting, again, you're easing. There is a physical component, and there's also, of course, the spiritual component. And for me, I always think about when you're doing a fast, especially a water fast, I start to think about the properties of water, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I always think about how water can make us water is such a receptive element. And so if I am now becoming so much more hydrated and, including a lot more liquids, then I always ask myself, does it allow me to be more open to spirit? Does it allow me to be more open to my connection with the Most High Yah? And I think that's definitely something to ponder and to think about and to experiment with, because I can't say what your relationship would be like. PC Sequoia, thank you for being in the space. I know some people were, I hope there isn't anyone else who got stuck on the other live. I noticed most people have joined. Some of the faces, not the faces, but the names that I saw from the previous live that I started. Oh, sure, no problem, Sister Tracy. No problem, no problem. Do you have any other ideas in terms of what juices you're going to create? And I'm asking because I am going to prepare a lot of what I'm going to consume today and Tuesday, just because for many of us, those who are new and actually acknowledge the Sabbath, it, I don't want to say it restricts us. It allows us to have a day of relaxation and to commune and to fellowship. So there is no work done on that day. So today, later on this evening, I look forward to preparing some watermelon juice. Watermelon is an excellent diuretic. So if you want to take advantage of a fruit juice that will help to flush your system and flush your blood during the fast, doing watermelon alone is an excellent way to do that. And for those of you who have children, they'll love it. If you juice it, they'll like it that way, but you could also blend it and it will have almost like a smoothie texture. So there will be some fibers remaining. And that will help to regulate you while you're fasting. That will help to regulate you while you're fasting. So I spoke about the idea that watermelon can be a diuretic. And I mean it. If you're not a new and you have to work and you're thinking of doing a watermelon fast, be warned. Be warned. It just, your watermelon looks unassuming, but it will take you down. It will take you down. You will find yourself making many, many trips because it moves very quickly through the system. So watermelon is one that you can use. Alyssa suggested one which was really good. That strawberry mix. I would add ginger to it. Here's why I would add ginger to it. Ginger is a root, right? So one of the things we know is that when we have roots or herbs that are roots, they tend to be chock full of minerals, right? Ginger helps to remineralize your system, and it also has prebiotics that will help to feed the gut microbiota. So you can't go wrong with adding a piece of ginger to any of the juices. And if you do have digestive issues or dis-ease, so to speak, in terms of digestion or flatulence, that's something that you can include in all of your juices and all of your teas so that you can help to regulate your digestive system during the 3-day fast. Okay, I have questions. Are there any age restrictions for children who want to fast? As far as I know, none, because there are 3 options, right? There aren't any restrictions unless, you're speaking about a baby or a toddler or anyone below 5 years, I would say. But this is me sharing what I know and how I have seen other, children that have been around actually work through a fast. I do know in some other cultures, below a certain age, children are not, necessarily allowed to fast. But because this is a liquid fast, and you're not required to do a water or a dry fast, a liquid fast allows you to get in smoothies. So anytime they're hungry, you could include a smoothie. And here's a trick. One of the tricks that you can use is, and I'm saying a trick, but it is a beautiful alternative. You can make a savory liquid meal, right? So if you're doing the liquid fast, you can actually create a soup from some of the veggies that you're making. Of course, I don't mean a soup on the stove. So you're not turning on the stove. You're not peeling potatoes or putting carrots or whole pieces of food and making a regular soup. You're making a what we call a raw soup. And some of you who were on, some of the ladies, if you were on our retreat last year or our new womb retreat last year, you probably would have tasted some or seen us making soup. So we could actually break our dry fast and move into the liquid fast. So you can actually take, I'll share a quick one with you. You can take 1 tomato, or depending on the size of your family, 2 tomatoes, 2 large carrots, celery sticks, warm water, and you can blend that on high. And if you have a Vitamix, you're in business, because you could literally make hot soup without putting it on the stove. You feel free, you can add maybe a seasoning pepper or a jalapeno if it's not too hot, so that there's some flavor to it, but it is liquid, But we don't want to forget that the fast is not just about, okay, what are we going to drink? What are we going to consume? It's really just, it's the focus of the fast is really to focus on our relationship with Yah and to focus on the nutrient that we get from communing with the Most High, as opposed to the nutrient that we get from physical food. But that's one soup that you can try, something that's savory. Yes, I was speaking of children under 5. Okay, so for children under 5, that's a good question. If there's anyone who wants to jump in, and help me with this, that will be great. But I would suggest that you can introduce it to them, but you don't have to hold them to it. All right, unless this is a standard that you're creating for your homestead. If it's a standard you're creating for your homestead, I suggest that you make sure they're drinking lots of water, but they're also getting something every, let's say, 2 hours. Check in with the children who are under 5. Make sure smoothies. Make sure they're having shakes. Make sure they're doing the soups, because those will be healthy and heavier, and it will give them some fiber. Again, children are younger. It's harder for them to conceptualize not being able to consume solid food. But the truth is, I think they surprise us a lot because they have less fears around food scarcity. I think they more times they're much more open to it. So try it. If you have a 5-year-old, try it and see how it works out. But again, make sure you do have fruit and other things available just in case, so that you could support them. Um, you want to ease them into it. So if this is their first time, your child's first time, and they're under 5, try them out with the shakes and smoothies and the soups and see what happens. But again, make sure you're giving them enough, and they're drinking to their fill, and also include maybe hot teas will help them. Yeah, Alderay says, is hot a part of the fast, hot tea? Yes, you can draw or make hot tea to support you. If you're going to use yellow dock and burdock or other roots, you do want to heat them, because that's the best way to extract the nutrient from them and their active components. If you sit burdock in water at room temperature, it will not draw. You'll have to actually put it in alcohol or something. So you actually have to draw it in hot water. Yes, Sequoia says, my 1-year-old daughter loves soups and smoothies. That's what I was thinking of doing. Yes, she'll do well. Once you can, and you have a Vitamix. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I remember from the retreat. That's the Vitamix that saved us. So you can pretty much make any soup. You can make which you probably do already for her. You probably make, what do they call them? Sauces, like fruit sauces and so on, that she can consume. So at least she's getting introduced to not consuming, solid foods during the fasting period. Mm, yes, Alderade, Dean, yes, tea is included. Thank you, Sister Moksha. You mentioned all that I plan on doing. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. And please feel free to ask additional questions. I know sometimes I can go on, but I want to make sure that I don't miss out on anything or skip over any points. If you ever need fortifying during your fast, right? Maybe you feel a bit fainty, or it's possible that you feel lightheaded during your fast. Make sure you have something prepared already. So the best thing that will work for you would be something that has electrolytes in it. So coconut water is would be great. The problem is, all of the coconut water we have available to us is boxed coconut water. So if you can find actual coconuts, and you have an appropriate tool, is what I say, to chop the top off, then it will help you, and it will help to revive you. You can juice celery sticks and carrots, and those have minerals as well that will help to revitalize you. They have electrolytes, and there are some levels of sodium in celery that will also help to revitalize you too if you're feeling fainty. And a pinch of cayenne underneath your tongue. If you're an adult, it will wake you up real quick. What about dandelion in smoothies or in a tea form? So that's a great question because dandelion is interesting. We can use the dandelion flower, the leaves, or the root. So which are you referring to? Are you referring to the roots or the leaves? The precious mom says, yes, Sister Deidre, I was wondering the same. Oh, okay. I have leaves, so the precious mom has leaves and roots. So leaves and roots are definitely two parts of the dandelion plant you want to include because dandelion, again, it's a diuretic, so it will help to flush your system, but it's also a milder blood cleanser, as well as it will help to fortify the blood. Here's the thing: the roots you want to draw as a tea, and I think on one of the command days we were told that putting the roots in the tea leaves and the roots in water and turning it up on high is not how you make good tea. So make sure that you draw your tea gently if you're using roots. So dandelion root can be drawn as a tea, and you can take that decoction because that's called a decoction when you place roots in a batch of water and you boil it or you draw it. That's a decoction. So you'll take your decoction and you can add it to any smoothie or shake in that way, or you can have it separately as a tea. One suggestion I have is that you try not to indulge in the honey and the agave during this time, right? So if you're trying, and I'm only mentioning those two because at this point no one should be consuming white sugar or brown sugar in any form at all, or youth. But if you do use honey or agave, this is not the time during the fast. You want to make sure you're drinking your tea as plain as possible. And I think you're going to realize that you love it. And that message is for me too, because I do enjoy a huge cup of tea with a bit of maple syrup at times and some raw honey. But you can pull back from those and restrict those sweets and those sugars from your sweeteners from your fast. If you're drinking tea, drink the tea plain. I do have a suggestion. If you want to get your youth, right, whether they're preteens or younger, to actually drink teas as well during this time, you can place you can place dates, goji berries, or raisins in the tea, right, in the decoction, and that will be sweetened enough. And I know it might seem like, oh my goodness, you're still adding sweet, but it is not as sweet, but it does offer some sweet to help them if they really are interested in trying the teas. You want to make sure that you support them in the best way possible. So you can add some dates or goji berries or raisins. And goji berries make an excellent tea on their own. I hope I answered the question. Okay, onto the leaves. I think I was talking about roots. Onto the leaves. And if you have more questions, please ask away. The leaves you can use the dried dandelion leaves, but most times people use the green leaves. Green dandelion leaves are not as potent as the roots, but they are highly nutritious as well. Lots of vitamin K, as kale and collards also carry. You can blend them and make a soup as well. You can blend them into a shake, or not a shake, rather, a smoothie with fruit and water. And that would, I suggest things like banana and fruits that have stronger flavors because dandelion greens can be a bit bitter. Can be a little bit bitter. Yes, Sequoia says, I will pick up those items you mentioned. I have my chlorophyll drinks on deck too. Yes. chlorophyll straight shot or with some apple juice or just some water, or you can add it to the juices that you're making. That's a good way to consume it. I find licorice root to be sweetening in tea. Yes, licorice is sweetening in tea, but not everyone. Licorice is a flavor that you have to get used to, but well, I shouldn't say have to. Some people love it, so I shouldn't say. But licorice is an excellent root for sweetening your tea as well. And licorice is another tea similar to goji berry that you can have plain. You don't have to blend it with anything. I want to make sure I'm getting everyone's. Oh my goodness. So Deidre mentions flashbacks of our chlorophyll shots from, our retreat. I'm geared up for another retreat. I don't know about anyone else. Yes, Sister Manira. So thank you. That is an excellent suggestion. Using licorice root as a sweetener in tea. Great. Sequoia says, yes, it sure is sweet and helps with constipation too. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you can use licorice to aid if you have constipation. But by the time you're finished with this fast, that wouldn't be a problem. That constipation should not be a problem at all. Nope, it wouldn't be. And if you find that after this fast you go back into a state where your body experiences constipation, then you need to go on another fast again. You need another 3 days. You can extend it. What about fennel? Fennel isn't going to add sweet to your tea, but if you find yourself a bit constipated but gassy and bloated, fennel helps to actually break down the gases or the gases that are formed in the digestive tract, and it eases any bloating that you may have. So fennel is excellent. You can make a decoction again and add it to any of the soups that you're making, because for some people the fibers can be difficult to break down. Some people need probiotics just because the enzyme count in their gut or their gut microbiota is not up to speed. And most times it's because of what they consume on a regular basis. So, fennel will help to replace the enzymes, but most importantly, it helps to break up any gas that may be formed in the digestive tract. How would you suggest we incorporate sea moss? Sea moss is very heavy, the precious mom. Oh my goodness. Can I just look back again? There are a lot of sisters in here. I like this. I like this. So the precious mom. Sea moss. So if you have dried sea moss, of course, you have to go through the process of soaking it and rehydrating it. But you can use it in soups or smoothies, and shakes as well. If you want, you can drink it as a tea plain, but I have never. I tend to use it in a smoothie. You can, if you're making sea moss gel, for example. I think there are lots of different videos showing you how to make sea moss gel. A lot of people boil the dried sea moss. I go through a process of soaking it in lemon juice, allowing it to sit for a while in that lemon juice so it can rehydrate. The lemon juice also helps to soften the sea moss naturally, so I don't have to boil it too much. And it does gel, even if you use some warm water to help soak it. Once it's plump and it's rehydrated, you can take pieces of sea moss and just add it to any shake or smoothie. It's not, I don't need to give you a recipe for it. But if you are interested in making it on your own and you've never done so, you can reach out to me and I can help you through the prep. The precious one says, I have the gel. My mother prepped it. Yes. Okay. So you can scoop the gel out during the fasting time. You can scoop out a tablespoon rather, and add it to any shake. As Sequoia suggested, she says she's going to gather her ingredients to make soups. You can add sea moss to your soup as well. Sea moss takes on any flavor that you put, anything that you put it in, it just takes on the flavor. Um, Sometimes it can be very strong, but it has what 92 of the minerals that we need. So you can't go wrong if you're trying to remineralize your body, or you want to make sure that you're not drinking too much during the fast. If you're doing one shake, let's say you're doing one shake or one smoothie per day, um, add a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of sea moss to your drink, and it will hold you. It will hold you. How would you suggest? Oh, that was the same question. Yes. So, um, another thing that I wanted to mention was making sure that you consume enough water. Sometimes you may feel hungry, and my suggestion is that you try to drink as much water as you can, so that way you can reduce the amount of calories that you actually consume during this time. You're not trying to starve yourself, but you're trying to also push yourself to see how far your body can go on just water, right? Water and affirmations and fellowshipping. Shannon Riley, would you suggest anything like black seed oil or any other? Thank you. That's a good question to kind of segue into um, eliminating parasites and so on. And I know that was something that was mentioned on one of the other Command Your Days. Black seed is excellent. You can include it. The taste is not what's important. What's important is its function. You can do a tablespoon, but there's also black walnut. Black walnut is excellent as well, as it's a tincture, so you can utilize black walnut along with clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon. So here's something that I'll just give. It's a quick tea that I grew up on, and I grew up on this tea because I think elders knew that the active ingredients in things like clove and nutmeg and cinnamon, they actually help to cleanse the gut of parasites just naturally. So something that I know I do at least once a strong, I always have a big cup of spiced tea. There's always clove in it. I always include some nutmeg, and not too much nutmeg because it can make it go crazy, but not too much nutmeg, and cinnamon as well. Um, but a great mixture to support you if you cannot do the black seed oil or you don't have it, but you happen to have black walnut and maybe you have clove. That's a blend that you can make. You can steep the clove in hot water for about 25 minutes, and you can add, and you only need 2 cloves of pieces of clove if you're using clove. You don't need 3 or 4, you just need 2. You may even suggest 1. And you can steep that in some water, and you can add it to, or add the black walnut tincture to it and consume it in a shot, just like a shot. You don't need to drink it as a tea because it's so potent. I hope this is helpful. I'm glad that you have so many questions. I hope it's helpful because I want you to be successful, and I don't want you to go into the fast fearful. And I also am preparing you too, because that 40-day fast that we heard about this dawning on the Command Your Day, that might be a challenge. Hashtag 40 days. 40-day challenge. Let's see who's up for it. Thank you. You're welcome, Sister Manira. Welcome, Brother Antonio. Sister Deidre asked, what about if you have clove powder? Yes, if you have clove powder, you only need a pinch, not a tablespoon, not a teaspoon. You only need a pinch of clove powder. Clove is very strong. Clove can actually, along with nutmeg, can be hallucinogenic. It can cause um, I'm messing up now on the word. Um, it can cause you to have, you know, I don't know, but the word is not coming to me right now. Oh my gosh. It is not coming to me right now. I feel horrible, but you know what I mean. Um, not, I won't say it's visions. I guess you could say it's visions. Hallucinations. Oh my goodness. Miss Cindy Jones, I do not know where you came from, but thank you very much because that was really helpful. I know they're hallucinogenic, but I was like, what? Hallucin- hallucinations, yes. And that's nutmeg and clove, both nutmeg and clove. So you have to be very careful with it. So if you have clove powder, you only need a pinch of clove powder. It is 1:58. Do we have more questions? Yes. This is information says yes. This is very helpful. I'm taking some great notes from you and the chat. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. If you need any more, if you have any more questions about, let's say maybe food combinations for youth, please, easiest thing, oranges, strawberry, and banana, and close your eyes. You could even add chlorophyll to it, and it will work like a charm every single time. Oranges, strawberries, bananas. And you probably know this one already. Yeah, Tracy says, I make my sea moss with cinnamon, nutmeg, almond butter, almond milk, and oats. Is that too much? Should I not consume butters? Right. So I don't want to get off track. I'm going to answer your question, Tracy, and follow up with the others right after this. I wanted to continue on the parasite cleansing because someone asked a great question about the black seed oil, and that caused me to segue into the cloves and nutmeg. Another suggestion that was shared before was papaya seeds. You only need at least 2 tablespoons of papaya seeds. So you could literally eat your papaya and eat the seeds along with it. Of course, you're not going to do that during the fast, but you can do it prior to the day's fast. And there is a component in the papaya seed. It's very peppery, but there's a component in the papaya seed. I cannot recall it right now. It stuns and numbs parasites. So what happens is they release their hooks from the walls of our digestive system and our bodies, and that's how we're able to flush them out of the system. It numbs them as well, and nutmeg actually does the same thing to the nutmeg and the clove. It helps to numb them. I'm thinking there are a couple more things I want to suggest, but I know I've given you a lot, and I don't want you to feel like you have to go looking for additional things or buying more things. You know, there's so much healing. We have so much healing medicine in, our cabinet. Most of us have spices, and we think spices are just to make food taste good, but the spices were added to the foods because um, in ancient times, and our elders as well understood that, yeah, some of the things that they were eating shouldn't actually be consumed. It's not for human consumption, but they understood that these were all digestive aids, turmeric included, and so they included those in the food preparation so that it aided digestion. It helped to replenish minerals, and it also helped to clean out the gut and the colon at the same time. So, these spices and so on, they're all available. I'm sure you have them in your cupboard, use them. You can make a turmeric tea. I think I've heard people utilize the term golden milk. You don't need milk, but you can just take some turmeric powder and make a decoction, and you can have that as a tea, and it will also flush your system. How many? Okay, I want to go back up to Tracy. Oh my goodness, I found the question. Um, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about nut butters and nuts and grains and beans and seeds. During your fast, that's something I may have failed to mention initially. During the fast, you only want to consume fruits and some veggies. And I say veggies, meaning if you have cucumbers, which are fruits, and you want to utilize them, if you want to utilize dandelion greens as well, as Sister Deidre mentioned, you can in your smoothies and shakes, but that's as far as you're going to go. Leafy greens and fruits, right? Leafy greens and fruits. Stick to that because you want to be light. It's 3 days. Your body won't find itself going through changes from just restricting yourself to fruits and greens for 3 days. Your body won't say, oh my gosh, Tracy, you let me down. I didn't get any peanut butter today. It's fine. Or any nut butter, almond butter. Just put them to the side and you can reintroduce them after the fast. I'm going to say something to you. You might even find that after the fast, you realize you don't want to include so many or don't need to include so many nut butters and almond milks and so on in your shakes and smoothies. You might find yourself using less, right? So again, during the fast, use your spices to support you, use your herbs, but stay away from beans, peas, seeds, nuts, nut butters. Okay, so you can make your shake with your sea moss and the nutmeg and cinnamon, but stay away from the almonds and nuts and so. Yes, hallucinations. I found the word. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Cruz Alvarez says nutmeg. That explains it. Yes. Yes, it will knock you out too. Nutmeg is not easy. I'm from, born and raised in Spice Isle of the Caribbean. Nutmeg is used in everything, but a pinch of it. Nikki Love says, yes, too much cloves numb my mouth. That's right. So the same numbing effect it has on your mouth is the same numbing effect it has on those parasites and worms. And you're able to flush them out. Especially if you're doing green shakes, and when I say green shakes, not with powders, green shakes that include roughage, that includes greens like the dandelion greens and the kale, because it will help to also push anything that's sitting in the colon out. So it can numb. Sister Kashia says, I'm excited to do this fast with a new womb. Day one, those almonds looked real good. Oh my goodness, temptation knocking at your door. Are you going to sacrifice what you could be for a crust of bread or a sandwich? Are you going to, think about that? Always think about that. And yeah, every time you look at the foods that you probably have sitting out, drink water. Every time you see it, get into the habit of conditioning the mind and the body. Because I always say, when it comes to a fast, your body is going to follow, right? The mind is where that intention begins, right? Your thoughts, mind, heart, words is an excellent read that will help you kind of suss out the how to follow this idea of mind, of thoughts, and how that helps to drive what happens with the rest of the body. but the body will do what the mind says that it should do. So it's conditioning, and this is an excellent opportunity to push your conditioning beyond what you've done before. I'm excited too, Sister Kashia. Miss Cindy Jones says blood pressure concerns. Blood pressure concerns. I'm not sure. Can you elaborate on that if you're asking a question or you're just saying that you are concerned about blood pressure? The Precious Mom says, how many juices or smoothies would you suggest per day? Just what you need, you know. For the youth, it's hard to say because, you know, you want to make sure that they don't go hungry. But as an adult, I would say try to go for a gallon, right? A gallon of juice for one day. So you can make your juice at the beginning of the day or at the beginning before the Sabbath starts, and make sure you have 1 gallon of whatever that drink is, and then add water to that. So you can drink a gallon of juice, and that might be too much for you. But for me, I probably end up drinking about 32 ounces sometimes. I have a shake, maybe, or a smoothie if I'm doing a liquid fast. But I know some people have gone on at 1 gallon. And if you're juicing, if you're using a juicer, it means that you will be less full because you're really removing most of the fibers and the roughage. You're really, and there are some fibers in there, but you're really removing a lot of the roughage and a lot of what will keep you full if you're doing juices, right? So a juice or a juice using a juicer will fill you less than a juice that you make using the blender, especially if this is new to you. All right. I'm missing a whole lot. Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit because I want to make sure and answer all questions. Alicia says, thanks for sharing your time and knowledge. I appreciate you for being in the space and communing with us all. Yeah, Aldore, what's your perspective on mixing vegetables and fruits? I recently heard it wasn't a good idea. It isn't as simple as don't mix them or mix them. There are acidic fruits, subacidic fruits, some are sweet. There are some sweet fruits, some sweet fruits, sorry. And depending on the type of fruits, whether they're acidic or subacidic, you don't mix them with any sweet fruits. You can mix them, especially the acids, you can mix them with greens, but not with sweet fruits because they putrefy in your system. And so putrefy just means that it does not digest properly and it causes bloating, and the food or the fruit sits in your stomach. And I know it's strange thinking that fruit does not digest, but if they're mixed poorly, sometimes that becomes a problem. I can't tell you, I can't recall off the top of my head details, but I can send a short list to you. But again, the major thing is never mix very acid fruits with sweet fruits. And you can mix acids or subacids with leafy greens. That's always a easy combination that you can get away with. But it is not just simple as don't mix them. And I'll say this. So I am no longer raw. I don't consume only raw anymore. But when I consumed raw, you know, I did not have digestive issues. I did not have problems with gut flora or, you know, like any other issues from blending or mixing fruits and veggies. I really did not. And I actually found myself around a raw food family who found that, including because they were fruitarians before, and they found that once they included vegetables into their regimen, the children became stronger, their bone density increased. So, I won't say it's just as simple as, not mixing them. There are different combinations to it. What's okay? Let's get the likes up, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, this is very helpful. Taking some great notes. I read this before. Give thanks for the tips, sis. Oh, you're welcome. Waters and teas will be my regiment. So I guess that's what's going on. I think I scrolled up a little too far. So Chief Yuya said they are soft when you scoop them from the papaya. Oh, you're talking about papaya seeds. Yes, they can have, they're soft, but they can have a little, they have a little crunch. I'm chewing right now because I can imagine the pepperiness. That's really interesting. I didn't know that clove and nutmeg. I've mixed nutmeg and cinnamon before. It was only a matter of time before I added the clove and nutmeg. Those nut milks can be very acid. Plus, they put creamers. Okay, I keep knocking myself off. Plus, they put, I missed that piece. Creamer in them. Yes, and they also add emulsifiers as well too. And not some of the emulsifiers are not natural emulsifiers. What foods do you suggest eating after the fast to reduce in your diet? I'm not sure what you mean. I understand that part about what foods to eat after the fast. So yes, of course. I am behind all of the conversation. I'm moving a little too slow. Oh my goodness, you have a whole different conversation going on. For children, if you are doing a good amount of fruit smoothies, you will find that the sugars will give them a feeling of satiation. They won't be too hungry after a day or so. Right. A simple rule of thumb is to keep it simple. Throwing 4 fruits and 3 vegetables in a shake might give you the chocolate squirts. Okay, so moving on. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. But keep it simple. And you could do some more digging in terms of the food combinations and so on. Another tip for children: if they are hungry, send them to bed. Okay, I remember some of those. I remember that too. During the fast, get up with the sun and go down with it. Lingering around will remind you, and then of them of hunger. Yes, that is indeed true. And if you have some, like some additional tips, store all of the food that you have that may tempt you. Put them in the freezer. Anything that you might be tempted to take out and throw in a pot and cook, put it in the freezer. If you have any snacks that you think may be enticing to you, I say put them in containers and lock them away. You may have your emergency boxes prepared. You could take the unopened ones and stick them in there and so that they're hidden away. Hide them. Put them out of sight, out of mind, especially for children. Don't leave it there. If you're an adult and you want to challenge yourself, feel free. I'm looking at all of my delicious seaweed sitting out here, and it will stay there because I won't be tempted to consume or to indulge in it. But for preteens and youth, you want to make sure that all of the things that can be tempting to them or remind them of food or solid food, put it away. Put it away. And have that conversation with them. Don't just jump into the fast. Sit and have a long dialogue with them, and get their thoughts on it. Not that they will be making the decisions in the home, but sit and have a conversation with them. Um, Thank you very much, Sister Aldari. I appreciate that. You don't even know. Yes, Sequoia says, well, that's what the Bible says. Okay. Oh, I think it's to go to bed. Um, if you have no more questions, we'll close today's session. Oh, but before I go, so here's I wanted to share just briefly that there are additional things to consider when you're making your juices. If you haven't planned what you're going to make for those 3 days, again, it's only 3 days. But colors are an absolutely amazing way to connect to some of the vibrant antioxidants and the functions of some of the fruits and foods. And so I'm going to read from my blog. So I have a blog, and what I do is I tend to include a lot of the things that some of the things that I've spoken about here. You can find them on the blog. I have a blog that talks about detoxification and detoxing the body. It's a 3-part series, so you can find even more information there. But I wanted to share something about the colors of juices. And I believe on enlightenment and transformation. For those of you who are new and are interested, there is a color magic. There is a color magic lecture that also helped me while I was thinking about the chakras and the different colors of fruit. So red foods, if you think about red is it's almost like an expansive, or you think about fire or anything that's fiery. So all red foods help to increase circulation. And what's interesting is I always think about hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry is an excellent herb. It's a dried berry that helps to support heart health, and heart and blood circulation, and it's red. So is beet. Beet is excellent for blood circulation as well, even though the sugariness in the beetroot can be a problem. But then again, adding the yellow dark and adding the burdock is going to support you so you can digest it properly and assimilate it. So red foods help to speed up circulation, and they create fire and heat in the body. Orange foods are antispasmodic. So if you're running and you're having twitches in your legs and so on, a lot of the times they'll tell you have something like that is citrusy to support you. So oranges can help with that. If you're having cramps and pains, that can be an issue for you. Orange foods will help to support you through those pains. Orange foods also help to clear the lungs, and they help with lung health. Yellow foods are motostimulant. And again, it's interesting if you think about yellow foods or just the color yellow on the mind and how it uplifts you even spiritually, then you understand how yellow foods can support movement, right? They're what is called a motostimulant. And moto, of course, meaning that movement, and stimulant, of course, movement of the body. Hold on. Follow for more information. The Sovereign Eats. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Um, Let me finish. Let me finish really quickly. Green foods. Green foods help with, again, increasing your levels of vitamin K. But green foods are always blood cleansers because also they have high levels of chlorophyll in them, and they are nutrifying, but they're natural tranquilizers. So if you have a green juice, you might notice that you feel maybe not lethargic, but very calm and at peace, right? So green juices do help to kind of to calm you, and they are tranquilizers. And the last food would be blue foods. Blue foods like are excellent for headaches. And most people connect blue foods with the spiritual element or anything that is connected to mental work, right? So those are just some of surface area references to colors of foods that can support you during this time. I won't drag on the conversation any longer. If you have no more questions, I appreciate everyone for joining us in this space. Thank you, Chief Yuya, for creating this hub for us to be able to come and commune and ask questions and share our knowledge with each other. It is like a cipher. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. I know everybody's going to do well on the fast. Share what you're doing on Instagram, hashtag AnuMan, AnuWoman, hashtag Anu Life Global Ministries. If you have red wrap tea with you, hashtag red wrap tea and red wrap. And we thank you. And Andreen, give thanks. Everyone is saying thank you. If there are no more questions, please let me know. I will close off. Andreen, maybe that can be covered on Teams. All right. So if there's anything else, ask your questions on Teams if I forgot anything. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget, as Ia Aldere says, find your way over to thesovereigneats.com and look for the blogs. There's a lot more information available there on detoxification and any other tips that you may need to help you with your fast. Peace. Enjoy your Sabbath, everyone. See you again. Oh, am I missing something? Chief US says she's not seeing it. Ask on the Anu Teams chat. Did I miss something? I probably missed something. I'm sorry. Okay. Breaking your fast. Oh. Okay, I'll cover it really quickly. What do you do? What foods do you eat to break your fast? Grapes are an easy fruit. Mono meals. So mono meal means mono fruit meal means that you're sitting and you're eating one fruit during the meal. All right, and a mono meal diet is when you're just eating all day. You're eating the same fruit. So to break your fast, I want to suggest that you break your fast with fruit, but just stick to that one fruit. So if you're eating cantaloupe, have cantaloupe. That's it. If you're having grapes, have grapes. That's it. So on Tuesday, dawning, when we actually rise, that's when you're going to officially break your fast with food. Make sure you have fruit prepared there. Or you could break your fast with a drink, a juice, or a smoothie. Not nut butters, not heavy shakes, not anything creamy. Teas, fruit, sliced fruits, grapes, oranges are excellent because, again, the chewing and the acid also helps to break up any gas that you may have collected during your fast. Anything else? If you want some more tips, I will meet you on over Teams and maybe you could ask the question tomorrow for those of you who will be in the cipher. Peace, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Did I miss anything? No, I don't think so. And